Hi, I'm Andy Judd. I play keyboards in Garage Hymnal, and today we're going to be talking about tiny little melodies, tiny little melodies, kind of guide tones or leading notes which help us to move through the chords, and we're going to be improvising accompanying that way so that we can accompany and support the main melody. Now the idea is when we're playing chords to accompany the melody, we want to be able to give a sense to the ear of what's coming next. We want to be flowing through the chords. We don't want to sound like we're as surprised as anyone that there's an A coming next. So to take an example, we've got the song This Is My Father's World, which the first two chords are D and A. So it goes D, A, D. What we could do is we could play it just like that. We could just play the kind of... We can play those kind of dotted crotchets there to get through the song. That's a little bit boring, and it also doesn't lead us to the next chord. So I'm looking for a tiny little note which will create a tension over the first chord, which is only released then when we get to the second chord, and that'll kind of catapult us nicely into it. The note I'm looking for is something like an E. Now E is not strictly part of the D major triad, right? So D major has D, F sharp and A in it. E's kind of there in the middle, which means it creates a little bit of a tension. Not a lot, because it kind of still sounds pretty, but it creates enough tension that the ear will start expecting us to move somewhere else. Conveniently, E fits very nicely within the chord of A, whose notes are A, C sharp and E. Here's what I mean. So we create a tiny bit of tension which then is resolved or is kind of answered or is made sense of by the next chord. That's the kind of thing that we're going to be doing in these little melodies, is making little tensions and little releases which are going to get us through the chord progression. But to do that, we're going to need to have pretty good scale and chord theory. Here's how it works. Over any chord, normally you'll be looking at a D on the page and thinking about the three notes which are part of that chord. So D major has three notes, D, F sharp and A. That's cool, except there's actually a whole bunch of other notes which are related but not as related. We call that the scale of D major. So over this chord there's a whole bunch of other notes which have a kind of relationship to that chord. The ones that are part of the chord, if you like, the D, F sharp and A, will sound particularly at home in that chord, on that chord. But there's all these other notes as well which have a feeling of tension, which want to lead somewhere else, and which are useful therefore for making melodies, because music's all about tension and release. So if I play an F sharp, it sits nicely. If I play an A, it sits nicely. If I play D, it sits really nicely and doesn't want to move anywhere. But if I play an E, it wants to resolve. And if I play a G, which is the fourth of that scale, it wants to resolve back down or up. If I play a B, it really wants to resolve. And if I play a C sharp, it wants to resolve quite a lot as well. We can use that to our advantage to make a little melody. So the tiniest little melody we could make over a D would be just to move from one of those tense notes to one of those more released notes. Just create a little tension, just kind of hit it up in the air and it's come down. And then, as we worked out before, if we pick a note which then in the new chord over the A is not a tense note, if we land on that, then it's going to sound like we meant to go there, like we're anticipating that next chord. So if we play that over the D, so I'm playing a B natural here. And again, that to move back from the A to the D, I picked an F sharp there, which is not particularly at home on the A scale, but wants to come back over it. So really when I'm looking to make an arrangement or to play along with something, I'm looking for spaces where I can include my own little bit of improvisation, my own little bit of creativity, but serving the song and supporting the melody. So we can move towards the goal, we can move towards the next chord so we can support the melody. That little figure there, for instance, is something I sometimes play if I was doing this acoustically with no other instruments, as a bit of interest in the turnaround. And you can use these same principles of tension and release in that context as well.